In this video, we will be discussing financial aid. It is super important that you understand your financial aid, not only your balance, but also what aid you may be receiving to cover that balance, because you must have some sort of payment plan, financial aid, or tuition reimbursement in place by the time classes start, or else you are at risk of being dropped from your courses. If you do not have something in place, then they will administratively withdraw you. Therefore, always, always, always double check all of your financial aid package, your tuition reimbursement forms, and you can double check with your program coordinator. This video is going to go through how you check your financial aid, how you apply for it, and a little bit of tidbits about self-service as well. So in order to check your financial aid and your balance, you'll need to log into self-service. You can access self-service at selfservice.uu.edu. This is the home page. In order to check your financial aid, you'll need to click on the Financial Aid tab. When you click Financial Aid, it'll take you to this page, which has an overview of your account and a little bit of information about any requirements you may have. Always check to make sure that you're in the correct academic year. You can click the drop down to change the academic year to your current year, or go back a year to check last year's financial aid situation. When you're on that home page, make sure and look at the checklist. Look through and see if you're missing any documents or if you need to do any particular actions before you can receive your aid. If it says action needed, then click the words right next to it, and it will take you to whatever is required of you. In this instance, you needed to complete required documents. So if you click on that, it'll take you to a list of all the documents that you're missing and need to complete before you can receive financial aid. If you click the required documents, it's going to take you to a page kind of like this. In this instance, the student is missing a verification form and is needing their FAFSA submitted. So if you see any of these links here, or any sort of document that you're missing, and it doesn't have a link to it like it does in this one, and you need a verification form or some other form, contact your program coordinator or advisor, and they will be able to send you the correct information so we can make sure that you're eligible for financial aid. To check your awards, once you've received financial aid and you know that your FAFSA has been submitted, all your documents are good to go, click My Awards on the drop-down menu in financial aid. This will take you to a list of all of the aid that has been offered to you. You do not have to accept all of the aid, such as the loans or a scholarship or grant. You can accept or decline anything listed here. I highly recommend that you only take out as many loans as you need. Therefore, accept your grants and scholarships first, and then base the amount of loans that you take out off of however much you have left. To see a breakdown of all of the aid that you've received and then sign that you wish to receive it, go to your awards letter. You must complete your awards letter before you can receive any aid. So it'll take you to this page, and you can see for this student it's just broken down by fall and spring, but for adult students your aid is going to be broken down by fall, spring, and summer. So whatever your total award amount is, be aware that it needs to be divided by 3. So you'll only receive a third each term or each semester. So this student received $4,000 in a scholarship. They'll get $2,000 in the fall and $2,000 in the spring. Once you've reviewed all of your awards, scroll down to the bottom of the screen and click where it says I verify. That is how you sign your awards letter. This must be signed before any aid can be placed on your account. If you go back to the home screen, you can click Student Finance. Student Finance will show you how much you owe and help you make a payment or set up any sort of other payment information. When you click that Student Finance page, you'll see this breakdown of your account, so the account summary. At the bottom of the page, it will say total account balance. If that balance is in the negative, that means that you have more aid than you have charges. So if your financial aid is more than your tuition, you may receive a refund. So if your balance is negative, that means you do not owe anything. But if your balance is positive, then you owe something for your account. This may be because your financial aid has not been placed on your account, you haven't done FAFSA, you haven't accepted your aid, or it may be that you just don't have enough aid to cover your tuition. Always check your balance and determine what needs to be done to cover that balance. To view your account by the semester, you can click on Account Activity. That's in the drop-down from the Student Finance page. When you click it, it looks like this. There's a nice little graphic that shows your charges minus your aid equals your balance. So this student in this example is a traditional student, so their charges are a lot more than the adult student rate. And then they received that amount in financial aid, which means their balance was $4,304. Just like with the financial aid page, make sure that you're in the correct term or semester and the correct year. So click that drop down and make sure that you are in the year that you want. If you have a balance on your account and you need to make a payment, you can go to that student finance page and click Make a Payment. You'll choose your payment method and proceed. I really encourage you to use the online check feature because there are service fees for credit cards or debit cards. Once you make a payment, you'll see this review, and then you'll have to confirm that you wish to make the payment from whatever method you chose. If you are planning to receive financial aid, you need to fill out the FAFSA. This is free, it's online. Go to this website and make sure that you complete the FAFSA. The FAFSA opens every year on October 1st for the following year. So every year on October 1st, fill out the FAFSA, and this will ensure that you're in the running for financial aid. If you do not fill out the FAFSA every year, you will not receive federal student aid, such as Pell, Tennessee Reconnect, or Stafford loans. When you fill out the FAFSA, use Union's federal code 003528, and that will send your FAFSA to us for processing. If you're pulled for verification, then you'll need to go to the IRS website and fill out a tax return transcript. We need the official tax return transcript sent to the financial aid office in order to complete this requirement. You'll also need to fill out the verification form, which you can find on self-service or by contacting financial aid or your program coordinator. It's important that you turn in these documents as soon as possible because you will not be awarded aid until financial aid has received them. Again, this goes back to don't get dropped. You need to have all of your financial aid information into the financial aid office before classes start to ensure that you are not at risk of being dropped from your classes for having a balance. If you're pulled for unusual enrollment history, contact your advisor or program coordinator, and they will send you all the documentation that you need to fill out. Also, all students must turn in all of their official transcripts for every university that they've attended. If you have attended any other university in your life, we must have the official transcript. If you're on provisional, that gives you 1 semester without turning in those transcripts. But in order to register for classes the next semester or to graduate, you must turn in all of your official transcripts. Those have to be sent directly to the Jackson campus, and they cannot be opened before we receive them. Here are some of the grants that you may receive by filling out the FAFSA. You're not guaranteed any of these grants, but they are an option that you may receive by filling out your FAFSA. The Pell Grant is based on income. If you make under a certain amount, you may be eligible for the Pell Grant. Same thing with the Tennessee Award, the TSAA. The Hope Scholarship is based on GPA. If you have a high enough GPA, you may qualify for the Hope Scholarship. And the Tennessee Reconnect is for associate students. The Tennessee Reconnect and Pell pull from the same grant, which means if you receive full Pell because you're under a certain income, you will no longer qualify for the Tennessee Reconnect program. Keep that in mind. You will not receive a full Pell and Tennessee Reconnect. You may receive partial Pell and Tennessee Reconnect, but you will not receive full of both. You can only receive up to a certain amount, and since they both come from the same pool, you cannot receive them together. Loans are money that you have to pay back. The subsidized loans do not occur interest while you're in school. So if you are currently a student and you have Stafford loans that are subsidized, the government is paying on that interest while you're a student. But unsubsidized loans are different. They occur interest while you are in school. That means that when you graduate or when you stop taking classes, your loans will be more than they were when you originally took them out. So you will have to pay back more than what you originally started off with. Keep that in mind when you take out loans. Always take out subsidized loans before you take out unsubsidized loans, and only take out enough loans to cover tuition costs. It's very tempting to get a huge refund by taking out a bunch of loans, but keep in mind you do have to pay that money back, and there's a limit. You do not want to run out of loan or aid money before you finish your degree, or else you will owe back a bunch of money without having received any benefit from it. When you apply for FAFSA, you're automatically applying for loans as well, but you do not have to accept them. If you choose to take out loans, you'll need to go to this website, studentloans.gov, and complete both entrance counseling and complete the loan agreement. You must complete both of those items before your aid can be dispersed, which means, just like the other grants or other documentation, this must be completed before you start classes. In order to receive loans, you must be enrolled in at least 6 hours. If you enroll in 6 hours and then drop a course halfway through the semester, you will lose your loan money and have to pay it back. So be aware of how many hours you're enrolled in and make sure that you're at least in 6 hours every semester. If you need to turn in financial aid documents, you can Dropbox them here. Anytime you Dropbox any sort of documentation to financial aid, tell your program coordinator so they can be watching to make sure that the documents are received. If you need to set up a payment plan to cover the rest of your balance, go to this website. Be aware that payment plans are for the course of a semester, not the year. So it's usually about 3 months. That means 3 different payments. So make sure that you can afford to space out your payments in that quantity. Also, they must be paid by the end of the semester. There is a charge for setting up a payment plan, and that just depends on the year. So contact either financial aid or go to this website to determine exactly how much of the charge goes towards this payment plan. And here's a picture of our mascot, Buster. I hope that you've enjoyed this presentation and that it helps you make good financial decisions and prepare for your classes. If you have any questions or concerns or any of these topics you just want a little bit more information about, please contact your program coordinator or your advisor for more information.